Okay, so we've got our nice casual dinner party theme there. Jeff just showed us with those. I love those metal containers. They're so inexpensive and they look so pretty, and some of the other wonderful things on the table. What about a quick, fresh, easy, wonderful hors d'oeuvre? We're going to do melon prosciutto hors d'oeuvre, and it's an hors d'oeuvre I first had on a cruise ship years and years ago. And I remember I was like, what, that's a strange melon and prosciutto? And then I fell in love with it, and I've been eating it ever since and serving it ever since. And I have to give celebrity chef Tyler Florence from Food Network some credit for this. I met him about a year ago, actually, and actually not only a wonderful chef, but a really great guy, a fun guy to work with. And I've been using, this is kind of a knockoff of one of his recipes, and it takes that ordinary melon wrap prosciutto to kind of the whole another level. So we're starting out with cantaloupe here. And I've been reading a little bit. It's so hard to find out how to pick a right melon. And they say if you're hearing a lot of water when you're picking it up and it's kind of sloshing around, stay away from that one. You actually want to look for a little bit of green, and you can ripen it up on your counter for a few days. So that's what you want to look for. So basically, we kind of hollowed out this melon. And we're going to make these slices. This is the prettiest way to do this. I'm going to kind of give you an idea here. I've served this at a number of get-togethers, and everybody loves it and asks me for the recipe and how you do it and all that kind of good stuff. Okay. One thing I didn't do so good is you want these to be able to stand up. All right, like that. And if you need them to stand up a little bit better, sometimes you can kind of cut that part out, and that'll help it stand a little bit. Okay, so basically we're going to cut our melon into thin little wedges like this, and then we're going to come with our knife and go about 3/4 of the way between the flesh and the rind here. And we're going to take our prosciutto. So we've got one melon and about a half to a 1/4 pound of prosciutto, which is, prosciutto, by the way, is that wonderful Italian aged ham that you can now actually get right at the deli or near the gourmet cheese section at the grocery store. And you just kind of line these guys up. Let's see, will that one stand up for me? Let me see if this one will. This is the hardest part, just getting these guys to stand up. Rachel Monick, when she had her baby shower, at my house, and this was one of the hors d'oeuvres I served, and people just loved it, and then I've been really making it ever since. So we line those up on like a pretty rectangular, I don't know if that one's going to stand up for platter would really work nice. And then we're going to make this great little, and those would be great as is, and they look so pretty as is, but we're going to make just a white wine vinaigrette. Tyler does a sherry wine vinaigrette, and it's got kind of got the sweet and the savory and that little bit of vinegar, and we're just going to drizzle that on the top, and that's really what takes us to the next level. So let's do one more. And they look so pretty. There we go. That one's going to stand up nice for me. I think everybody remembers the first time they had something, and they really fell in love with it. And yeah, I was on this cruise ship, and they set some little hors d'oeuvres in the cabin. Sometimes they do that once in a while, or they used to anyway. And that was one of the little hors d'oeuvres that room service had brought to our cabin, and they were kind of, little bite-sized pieces of melon with a prosciutto wrapped around, and a combination of the sweet and the salty, just wonderful. So we're going to make our vinaigrette now. We're going to use a white wine vinaigrette, vinegar, I should say, or a rice wine vinegar, or a white balsamic vinegar. Or as you could do, Tyler Florence's original recipe calls for sherry vinegar. So basically it's a light flavored vinegar. You wouldn't want to use like the white distilled vinegar or balsamic, would be just too strong of a flavor. I'm going to sweeten that up with a little bit of honey, a little bit of fresh thyme. If you didn't have fresh thyme, you could just do a pinch of dried thyme, a little bit of salt and pepper. We've got the salt there from the prosciutto, so we don't need much of that. And then last thing we're going to do, whisk that together. And we're going to put some olive oil in here. This actually just makes a nice light salad dressing as well. You're going to have some extra dressing, so that's okay in my book. Keep it in a ball jar in your refrigerator and use it for salads, things like that. Just even prosciutto and melon on a spring mix bed of lettuce with some of this dressing would be fabulous. All right, so I'm going to take some of this gorgeous vinaigrette and you just kind of drizzle it over. And it just adds so much flavor, that melon and that prosciutto. And it looks pretty too. Doesn't that look great? I'm excited, and it would be a perfect hors d'oeuvre if you're kind of having a melon-themed party. Goes great with our pork tenderloin and some of that melon tea we brewed up.